Hello guys, welcome back to yet another video. Today's video I'm going to share my tips and tricks regarding my pre-flight checklist whenever I'm going out to fly with my drone. But first it's time for a little b-roll. To the location I want to fly, I'm going to share my first tip with you guys. Even before I plan to go out and fly with my drone, I always check the weather conditions and the wind speeds. It's really important, and even check the weather conditions in advance and the weather conditions for within a few hours to make sure you will be able to fly out the drone in a safe way. Next, you also need to do some research regarding the location you want to go out and fly, and check whether it's restricted area or not. So in other words, check whether you are allowed to fly at that certain location. As a third piece of advice, check your surroundings and look for local obstacles and possible obstacles that might obstruct your flying path. So for instance, I'm standing here. I think this is a really cool place to play around with these trees and take some beautiful bird's eye angle shots. But I need to be aware about the trees surrounded here behind me and keep them into account when flying. So I need to make sure whenever I choose an automated flight sequence, I still have enough of place to actually execute that shot. Okay, and then the first thing I need to do is switch to the GoPro so I can use my smartphone with my controller. Which is a takeoff location. Now I bought this backpack with the intention of using it as a landing pad and takeoff pad for my drone as well. So I'm going to do that and use it to take off my drone. And right before I go out and actually decide to fly out the drone, I always launch it at home when there is Wi-Fi connection and check whether there are updates available or not. Because whenever you need to execute an update with your drone and you're already on location, then yeah, you basically lose a lot of time, which is really valuable in some cases. Okay. As I'm wearing glasses, I also wear glasses to fly the drone, so I'm always able to see the drone in every circumstances. Now, some people also will recommend you to wear a fluo jacket just to make sure that people do not disturb you, but right now it's quite late in the evening and I don't expect a lot of people walking here right now. This also is part of checking your surroundings, that need to be certain whether there are animals close by, so you do not disturb local wildlife or fly into roads or something like that. Okay, so right now I did screw the joysticks onto my controller. Next, first thing I always do whenever I decide to fly is turn off the Wi-Fi. the Bluetooth and put my smartphone basically in airplane mode and switch on my localization or my GPS, because you need a GPS for localizing your drone. And then I always fly with the smartphone connected to the controller. Now, the main reason why I decide to put my smartphone into airplane mode is so I cannot get any phone calls or messages from certain apps or anything else. Now, the first thing I do next is check whether my drone batteries are still fine. I already switched. I already checked it at home. Oh, no, this brings me to the next one. This paper basically resembles a number of my battery, which is plugged in the drone right now. So I did give my batteries all a number, and I always use them in a certain sequence, so I'm not using the same battery over and over again. That's the only reason. Okay, and then we open up the drone. And most important thing before you decide to actually fly and turn it on is to remove the gimbal protector. And that's it regarding the drone. I always check whether my drone props are still in a good state. Check for cracks or anything else. Check whether your sensors, your obstacle avoidance sensors and your actual gimbal is free of any dirt. But this all seems right. And then last but not least, check whether these batteries are plugged in correct. You can see it here. If it's not plugged in correctly, you will see the red marks here. I'm going to check it once more. Click. You should hear a click whenever the battery is plugged in correctly. So then everything is set to go. Okay, and then always turn on the controller first. Okay. It should ask you to open the DJI Go 4 app or any app, depending on the type of drone you're using. And then it's time to switch on the drone itself. Always try to fly far away from any metal objects or any magnetic objects, so it does not disturb or interfere with the signal of your drone. Okay, and I also avoid dust. As you can see here, I'm standing here in a dusty place, because whenever you take off with a lot of sand close to the drone, it will create a big cloud of dust. And dust with your drone is not a good thing, especially not for the gimbal and the brushless motors. Okay. So now the most important thing is you can clearly see I'm connected to the drone itself, and I'm connected with the controller and the smartphone. But I'm not yet connected to enough of GPS satellites. I always wait until I have at least 11 or 12 satellites connected to the drone, because you need at least 8 in order to have a good connection. And then check right here. You can check some settings of your drone itself. Always verify whether the home point settings are set correctly. And I always want to set the home point to the place where I am taking off. And then one last check. And I always try to launch the drone with the cross stick command, which is as follows. So basically all you do is cross, and I'll show it like that. Basically you put down both sticks down, and then the props will start spinning. So the drone won't take off yet, but then you can check one last time, and then it's time to take off. As you can see, I always take off a little bit, a few meters, and then I check whether the drone corresponds and responds to all stick commands. And then it's time to enjoy your flight. Oh, and one last remark, I'm always flying, all obstacle avoidance sensors turned on. And then it's only a matter of checking whether there's any interference, like I'm seeing a plane over there, because all those types of transport or vehicles always get priority in the sky. So make sure you do not disturb them. And I'm flying backwards right now. That shouldn't be too big of a deal. And now it's all a matter of enjoying your flight. But also keep in mind, guys, that you always follow all the restrictions and know the regulations. Happy flying!